So I'm trying this out. I've never done this before, going live, but I was doing some building for the video this morning, and I thought I'd try this out, see if this works. Kind of a longer format type of video where I can talk a little bit more about um, some of the fact checking things that I do, and how I just kind of go through this. So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen and kind of show you a couple things that I thought were really interesting. I'm going through an Aaron Abke slide deck right now, and I wanted to show a couple things that I just thought were interesting. And I'm going to put this in a video. I'm working on that right now. Excuse me. And um, for those who don't know about the Aaron Abke debate slide deck, this was used almost a year ago, I think. And the slide deck that he presented wasn't really gone through too much. I mean, Stephen Boyce and Anton did do a response video to a couple of the different quotes, and they uncovered a couple things that were great. But it's just interesting how Aaron put this together, and so I wanted to go through as I was going through this. I think these two quotes here are super interesting of how he presented them. So I'll go through and see if this works.
Designation appearing in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Aaron, sorry, I just want to do justice to the audience. That just said Paul was the Antichrist. Wasn't this written way before Paul? Or
Yeah, I think Eisenman's referring to the Ebionites.
okay, so
this is post 70.
This is
The Ebionites did hold that position. They did not like.
Okay.
Paul.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify.
They thought his parents were Greeks. Yeah.
Did he actually say the Antichrist, or did he say the enemy? I'm kind of just personally curious.
Eisenman?
Yeah.
This is
Eisenman or
the
the
exact
Ebionites?
quote.
Oh, this is exact quote. Okay.
Yeah. Now, what Eisenman's saying here is that the Ebionites go back to the Ebionim from the Dead Sea Scrolls. So, for example, the Pesher on the Psalms, fragment 1 through 2, column 1, line 23, we have this self-designation, the congregation of the Ebionim, the community of the Ebionim. And so here's the Hebrew from the...
So he only uses, when he references it, he only references the middle one. Here, he doesn't reference these other two. And so when you actually look at it, so he's arguing, saying, all right, here's these this community called the Ebionim, which is poor. And so he's arguing to say that they were this self-designation, and they weren't just called, poor, or they used the word poor. So he uses these two. So if you see the one QH Thanksgiving hymn, and what I've done here is, it's super cool because you can actually look this stuff up. If anything, of what's been fun fact checking and going through this process is been able to learn a lot about the Dead Sea Scrolls, about early church writers, stuff that I haven't really touched before. And so if you look here at this one QH Thanksgiving hymn column here, let's look this up. So you can actually go and download the complete Dead Sea Scrolls. You can actually see this, which is super cool. I love being able to do this. Let's see. Well, we'll look at because I have actually pulled up. I will look at this bottom one. So 4Q 521, fragment 2, column 2. So you can actually go down here and look and see, for we honor pious upon the throne, eternal kingdom, free, opening the eyes of the blind, raising up those, blah, blah, blah. Forever I shall cling to the Ebionim. Now, if you look here, it doesn't actually say poor or Ebionim anywhere here. So this is here. You've got fragment 2, column 2, line 7. This is 7. Forever I will cleave and hope for his mercy. So that's the first thing, is he put this quote in here around this center one. Around the center one, to, I think, give it a little bit more oomph, you might say. Either that, or he just ChatGPT'd it and didn't know. But you got this here, and then this Thanksgiving hymn, and this is how I look for stuff. So if you can just go to, so let's do things. Oops. Thanksgiving. And then as you scroll through, you can see kind of where it's used. Thanksgiving, there's 30 instances. And so I'm just going to look for the Thanksgiving. Here we go. Thanksgiving hymns, 1QH. They're right here. Now, column 23 is down here. Have to go down. You can see these little Roman numerals here. Let's keep going down. There's 20. Let's see, 20. See, 23. So there's 25, 23. So we've got 23 here. Now, without ever okay, you can read through this. I think it's fun to always read through. But let's see, 23, line 14. Sometimes I'll just search for words. But there's no place here. Yeah, this is the womb one. There's no place here that actually says womb in any of this. Because what I'll do is I'll look for different words in here. So from the womb. So if we look up from the womb, there's a couple places. So this is hymn 4, lavish from the room, time of goodwill. That's not the quote. That's not the quote. That's not the quote. That's not the quote. So this is the closest one I could find to this. And this is not in the Thanksgiving hymn. For thou hast known me from the Father, and chosen me from the womb. So you can see that line is in there. From the belly of my mother, thou hast dealt kindly with me, breast conceived me. And it's not here. So for this one, for this 1QH1, it doesn't have ebunim. So that's what he's arguing. He's arguing that this word's in there. And the stewards of the men of the community, there is no place here for the men of the community. So it's not found in Thanksgiving hymn, column 23, line 14. And it's not, this quote is not found at all for there's parts of it that are found, but they're not found in entirety. So these two quotes don't line up. This one here is found there. It's the only time that's ever used. The congregation of the poor and it could be self-designation. It could be not. It could be just people saying that there's a congregation of poor people out in the desert. So it's him saying that there's a lot of these congregation of the ebunim in there is not true. So here's another one. I'm going to go through another one that this one was interesting as well, I thought. So this is Dr. Robert Eisenman, who is used a lot in their as a reference of a scholarly reference. And he wrote the Dead Sea Scrolls Uncovered. He's got some views that people would say were fringe. That was kind of used in the debate, talking about being a fringe scholar, meaning he has some views that aren't seen as mainstream. For example, he does believe that the Dead Sea Scrolls were written at the time of Paul and James the Just, and then put in. So he has that kind of view that they were written after Jesus. And so when they're talking about the righteous, what is it called? Men of righteousness, talking about James the Just. So in the Dead Sea Scrolls. So anyway, so there's some views of that. But what Aaron does is, and he changes Robert Eiserman's quote. So he starts it up here. The description of the Ebionites is critical for our understanding of text, of the use, the poor terminology. So he takes out, or he adds in Ebinim, Ebinim, blah, blah, or the poor ones. So he changes this. And then he, those material from other sources, he takes out all of this. So he doesn't say that he's changing it up. This quote. Where's the James the Just one? Oh, no. Oh, he took out this. That's right. He took out this. And then these are certainly memory of James the highest regard, Antichrist. So he kind of changes these up a little bit. So it's like a paraphrase, but when you're paraphrasing somebody, you need to actually say you're paraphrasing and not say that you are quoting them word for word. That is, I think, something that in this, when I've interacted with Aaron and with Cam, they don't see that. They don't hold that standard to say that if you're using quotation marks, that you're expecting it to be you're expecting somebody to use correct, terminology, or not correct terminology, word for word type of terminology. So you've got, Antichrist here. And then where do they change it at? So they use that Antichrist, and then he skips down here. The Ebinim is widespread. But then this is the most interesting one, is he changes the ending of this. I mean, normally in I'm not going to say that word right now, hymns and community rule. But if you actually read what Eiserman said, Star Prophecy, Column 1, and War Scroll. So he changes where he's saying that Eiserman said this was living. I don't know if he got this from a different source, but it's not from this book, which I think is, again, interesting in the way of putting together this argument where you're having to edit verses or add things. And he just kind of glances over this of I don't know why. I mean, it's an interesting thing of why he's doing this, but I'm trying to see if there's another one. There's other ones. Those are the two biggest ones of him editing different things out of the text. This slide's really interesting, where it's not so much of editing slides like they don't exist. It's just editing words. So in this one, he's actually taking the Nazarene and Nazarene here, and he spells them the way he wants them to be spelled, which I think is a super interesting thing too. But anyway, I'm going to be putting together more of a video on this. It's in the works. We'll kind of elaborate on these things that I found, and then what does the argument actually look like. So anyway, thanks for joining me if you came on the live stream.